So let us start today's topic. Our today's topic is supply curve. What is supply curve? Yesterday we discussed the supply schedule. That was a table which shows different quantities of a good supplied or offered for sale by different sellers, by a number of sellers in the market at different prices. Today our topic is supply curve. So whenever we have a schedule or a table or any relationship between two variables, we can plot that relationship on a graph paper and get either a line or a curve or anything else. So thus, what is supply curve? Supply curve is also when we provide graphical representation to the supply schedule, the curve we get from that graphical representation, that curve is called supply curve. So the supply curve is the graphical representation of supply schedule is called supply curve. So what is supply curve? Supply curve is nothing but graphical representation of supply schedule. The graphical representation of supply schedule is called supply curve. Also, when we make a curve, when we look upon the curve, this curve is made up of so many points. Thus, we can also say that each point of supply curve, एक point supply curve का क्या दिखाता है? A given quantity supplied at a given price. So each point of supply curve shows given quantity of a good supplied at a given price. At a given price. So what is supply curve? Supply point of supply curve. So each point supply curve is made up of points. Each point shows given quantity of a good supplied at a given price, and the whole supply curve shows the supply curve, all points of supply curve. Supply curve also shows so many quantities or different quantities. Of a good, different quantities of a good offered for sale or supplied, offered for sale by firms at different prices. At different prices. So we can give a lot of definitions to the supply curve. Thus, supply curve is locus of points. Locus of points. Each point shows or we shows different quantities supplied at different prices. We shows different quantities supplied at different prices. Because why different quantities at different prices? Because supply changes with the change in price. So we have already discussed this thing in the supply rule, that when price increases, supply also increases. When price decreases, supply decreases. Thus, supply curve also shows direct, or we can say positive relationship between price and supply and quantity supply. quantity supply. Thus, it also shows direct or positive relationship between price and quantity supply, because supply curve is itself, because supply curve has positive slope. It slopes directly. It positively slopes because supply curve has positive slope. Positive slope, or it slopes positively from left to right. From which shows direct relationship between price and quantity supply. So, what is supply curve? Simply, it is a graphical representation of supply schedule. Now we can construct. How to construct? We can have next question related with what is supply curve. Construct a supply curve with the help of a supply schedule. How to make supply curve? Construct a supply curve from a supply schedule. We can have a relation between price and quantity supply, which is shown by quantity supply. Price is, for example, 5. Supply is, for example, 1. 5, 6, supply is, for example, 2. 7, it is 3. 8, it is, for example, 4. 9, it is 5. Thus, we have a relation between price and quantity supply. Now, how to construct a supply curve from this supply curve? Very easy. Likewise, we construct a demand curve, we can make the supply curve. OX shows quantity supply, this column, and OY shows price, this column. We can divide this into different parts: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. ये भी अब इसको हम 5.10 कर देंगे. 5.10. इसको छोटे छोटे टुकड़े कर दो. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Price is 5, supply is 1. Price is 5, supply is 1. एक के सीध में, यहाँ 5 के सीध में. It is point A. 6 and 2. 6 and 2. 6 and 2. It is point B. 7 and 3. 7 and 3. 7 and 3. Point C. 7 and 3. 8 and 4. 4 के सीध में लगाओ यहाँ. D. 9 and 5. 9 and 5. E. इनको हम जोड़ देंगे. Let us connect these points. We get supply curve SS. So this is supply curve, which slopes upwards from left to right. We can write down to this table and diagram from the हम लिख सकते हैं from the above table and diagram, from the above table and diagram, when price is rupees 5, when price is rupees 5, the quantity supply is 1, and we get point A. We get point A from the diagram. When price rises to rupees 6, we get and quantity supply increases to 2, and we get point B from the diagram. We see as price rises or increases, the quantity supply extends, and we get different points, from the diagram, like C, D, E, F, etc. By joining these points, we get an upward sloping curve. We get an upward sloping curve. Which shows positive relationship between, or direct relationship between, price and upward sloping curve, which shows direct or positive relationship between price and quantity supply. So this curve is upward sloping curve, or it slopes upwards. Its shape is, it slopes upwards. इस तरह upward slope करता है. It slopes upwards from left to right. So always a curve which slopes upwards, it shows direct or positive relationship between one variable to another variable, between the variables. The relationship is positive when curve is upward sloping. So this is all about this, what we call supply curve. Okay, thank you very much.